Gosh dang everything. That was funny. I did not get a response for that from that one email. This is weird. Um, so as far as the professor knows, we didn't get access to our textbook until today. So maybe he won't expect us to have to do any in classes. So, that was fine. All right. This is taking forever. I already spent almost 2 hours reading up to this point. That is ridiculous. It should not have taken that long. Dang it. I mean, as long as I finish all the business law stuff by before I go to bed, that was fun. But it shouldn't even take me that long. I mean, ideally, I'd finish before I eat dinner, which would probably be around 6, maybe. So, I mean, I should be easily finish this. Gosh dang everything, guys. Can I just like I'd like to have 2 instances of the textbook open right now so that I can do the quiz thingy answers. Where are the answers to the quizzes? Oh, here. So that will be if once I do this. Ah, no, this is dumb. You know what? I'm just gonna, because there's, I just wasted time again. We are on 653, 653, 653, 653, 653, 653. Oh. Which tenant right is at issue? Which tenant right is at issue? Actually, there's 3 things here. So it's going to be kind of hard to. I don't know what that is. Okay, I should have just left it open. I always have to manually set the font to be bigger. Oh, dang it. Habitability. Day 1. Okay, there's certain things. I don't know, whatever. What is it called? Possession. Oh, jeez. Possession. 1 month into the lease. I don't remember. Gosh dang it. Quiet enjoyment. Oh my gosh. Ugh. That's just so funny. I feel like I have to be very close. No, I'm still 8 pages away. Dang it. Well, at some thing. No, that was funny. Alright. done. No. Dang it. No. Possession, claim, employment, and habitability. Twenty. That was funny. You never even said what zoning it is. Blah 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 blah. Well, I guess I could study advanced accounting before my class tomorrow. Could help me a little. That was funny. Oof. Eminent. Oh. The heck? Would I be better off if I actually got a good night's sleep? Man, this is funny. This is funny. This is funny. I need to come up with a better image. Wait. I could use that image as my desktop thingy. Dude, do all of the colors in both, I mean both of those colors, they must load in at the exact same time. Huh. Very interesting. Um, Stop! I seriously do not understand why some people's names are blurred or censored by the streamer mode and others aren't. I don't understand what the criteria is for whether or not the name gets shortened. What is it? Don't get it. Don't get it. Seems random, dude. Anyways. Funny. I wonder if you're. You might be wondering what I did all summer. I did nothing. Here's a summary of what I did on this. Actually, here. This is actually. What? Come on, notepad! Notepad! Come on, man. I remember pinning it to taskbar. Why did it close? Come on. Whoopsies, embarrassing stuff. Here is a summary. You go like this. This is basically my whole summer here, folks. Salt, cubing, salt, 3x3, Rubik's Cube solves. The number of solves that I did that day is right here, and the average is right here. This is my whole summer. And look how much improvement I did. That's right. Barely any improvement. Like, yeah, my best session got all the way down to a 736, which was somewhere in there. I don't even remember where that was. Here. So I did improve my best session from a 7.5x to a 7.3x, but it was like 753 was my best before, so it improved by point one, yeah, 0.17. So if you just go by my best session average, I improved by 0.17 throughout the whole summer. 0.17, going from a 753 to a 736. And in terms of the global average, that probably improved even less because I didn't even break my PB. Like I think my PB before the summer started, my PB average of 10,000 was 7.71, and then I think I brought it down to a 770, and that's it. Like yeah, I got a bunch more good averages like 7.6s. I got a bunch 7.6, 7.5. I got a 749. So like my best averages were faster, but my overall global average was barely changed at all. It was only my best solves that improved. It wasn't my entire average of every solve that improved. It was only my best solves that improved. Or my best short averages. Like still that was fun. I mean you could look at my you could also look at it in terms of my Where's my 3x3 PBs? Oh, dude, it has to be in here, right? My 3x3 PBs have to be in here. I edited it recently because I broke a PB recently, so where is it? I guess I should just search for it, whatever. Where even is this located? I don't care. Like, let's see here. So I did break most of my PBs. That was funny. So yes, I guess it is true. Man, I didn't even get my 5,000 to improve since June. I thought I did. Wait a minute, my 763. Let me look at this. Yep, I know. Yep, I'm wasting time. Yay. Yeah, I didn't improve it since June. So like the two biggest averages, which are the 5,000 and 10,000, they didn't improve since June. Well, this one did improve in July, weirdly enough, and this one didn't even improve since June. But then I did break most of my other averages in early August here and on 6th and 7th. It was probably all on the 6th. I think the 6th was when I got the 736 average of the session, I think. So, yeah, I did break a bunch of those. So, basic, yeah, I did improve kind of all the way up to early August. And then from the beginning of August to the end of August, no improvement because my cube sucked. I couldn't get my cube to be good. Ever since the 736 average, not a single day was my cube ever as good as it was on that day. That was funny. And it's still bad. In fact, it's really, really bad right now because basically I dumped a ton of lubricant in it and that's the last thing I did to it. So now it's like kind of slow. And as you may have noticed, my last two session averages were over 8 seconds because I didn't bother lubricating my cubes. So they were really bad. That's funny. If I lubricated my cube, it probably would have been at least sub 8. But and my last session average was a 8.4. And also, fun fact. Listen, Dutch is funny. Environmental regulations. Environment regulations. Supreme Court. I wonder when that was. Oh, well, in some cases, you may have to pay the compensation to the property owner for this regulation. Okay, so maybe it's not the worst thing ever. Well, that's only 2 of the 20 acres, though. Yes. So, derp, 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 derp. Ugh. Yeah. Derp, 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 derp. Well, technically, if the government takes property in certain instances where it requires compensation, does that make the taking of the property illegitimate, and therefore it's a punishment, like or something? Ooh. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Oh my gosh. No. I guess I'll be okay to study for accounting, advanced accounting after in between my classes. It's not as much study time as I used to get for federal income tax, but it's still technically more than zero because I used to basically not study. Like last semester when I didn't ever have to sit on campus for an hour. Actually, I'm gonna have to sit on campus for about 2 hours. It's gonna be from. It's gonna be. Let's see. 12:15 to 2. So, well, 1 hour 45 minutes. But if you, uh, it's probably more like an hour and a half or even less. So it's more like an hour and a half of study time, whereas I used to get 2.5 hours of study time for federal income tax. That's funny. But no. Oh boy. I was looking. Oh, that's using a condemnation proceeding. Condemn the real estate? What does that even mean? What does it mean? Public use. Public highways, schools, public hospitals, and public stuff. Developing the area into a thriving example of urban renewal that brings along new retail and office buildings. Ugh, I don't know what this is gonna end up being. Really? New London. I've never even heard of the city of New London. Where even is that? Where the heck is New London? What? Connecticut. 27th house. Dude, New London. Dude, what if it's actually a different New London? There's a New London, Wisconsin. Are you kidding me? There's a New London, New Hampshire. I mean, it could be any of these new. There's so many towns called that. Like what? It probably is the Connecticut one. devised an economic development plan that was projected to create more than 1,000 jobs and increase the waterfront conference hotel, marina, various retail, commercial, and residential properties. Ruled in favor of the city? That's actually a bit surprising. Because, wait. Because it feels. Did not contemplate. The city's development plan did not contemplate any direct bestowment of property rights upon private individuals or companies. The overall elimination of blight. What does that even? Those weren't. What? Where's the mouse? I'm done. I'm still confused by this because it says right here they were not part of the blighted areas. The quote unquote overall elimination of blight, and yet they weren't even part of the blighted areas, and I barely even know what that means. Oh, the Fifth Amendment provides state and federal government the authority to take private property for public use and to compensate the owner under the powers of eminent domain. Oh man, do we even need to read this stupid thinking strategically thingy? Dang it. Why are we thinking strategically here? They're like, oh, we'll think about the laws and then think about how to be strategic about the law. Says fine. When a business is considering leased space alternatives to locate its operations, one important business objective. Let's see here. What? Wait. Business is planning for expansion while minimizing risks. To achieve this objective, a business may lease space that is larger than its current needs, but needed in the future to implement a 10-year expansion plan. However, the current cash flow of the business may support only a smaller leased area. For a manufacturer of high-performance widgets locates a facility that is 10,000 square feet. Current needs support only 5,000. The management team is anxious to secure the space because of its ideal location and competitive rental rate. Also is embarking on an expansion plan that will require at least another 5,000 square feet of space over the next 5 years. Their objectives are to secure the 10,000 square foot parcel, reduce the risks and liability of the added expenses by having alternatives for generating additional revenue to support the additional space until it is needed and provide you with maximum flexibility in case expansion plans must be put on. A strategic solution. Maximize leverage by negotiating a subletting clause with an option for an assignment. A strategic method of using law to help abuse it would be for a waste management to approach the landlord of the facility and propose the inclusion of a sublease. Dude, this is insane. Wait a minute. What the heck? An assignment clause. In a 5-year lease, the clause could include the following provisions. You has the right to negotiate a sublease for up to 5,000 square feet of the facility, with UWI remaining primarily liable to the landlord on the lease. UWI has the option of assigning all or part of the lease, so long as the landlord can review the financial contribution and creditworthiness of the proposed assignee. The landlord may accept or reject the candidate based on creditworthiness if the landlord accepts the assignee. UWI remains primarily liable under the lease for a period of 1 year and then is released from any obligations of the lease. This solution achieves UWI's objectives by providing maximum flexibility to expand or contract while reducing the financial risks associated with leasing 10,000 square feet of property. The landlord also derives a benefit from the agreement because he now has a 5-year lease in place. or 10,000 square feet, and the right to reject any proposed assignee. Now we just have these, which are completely separate cases that are not the same as the ones I already read. Still the corporation up and I probably don't need to read any of these cases because we're just going to read them in class. If we go over them, we're probably going to just read them in class. They don't really give us the answers to the questions anyways, so I'm not going to read these because we'll just read them in class. They're not that bad. Who is he going to say like I expect you to have read the three ending cases at the end of the chapter before class so that we don't have to read it in class. Is he gonna say that? Dang it, that means I probably have to read it. Dang it. Well, at least read this one. I already forgot what a bailment was. Oh, never mind. I remember now. Why do I have Excel? I thought we might need Excel in our class, but we didn't. Oh, that was funny. And weird fact, he still hasn't really posted stuff on Canvas. He said he did, but was he mistaken about that or something? Because it just still has last year's class on here. So that's funny. Is anybody gonna tell our professor that that's what we have on here? So right now, uh, was it bailment? Where I feel like. Ooh. Well, is Stoda liable for the sprinkler system failing? I don't know. I don't know. He basically just made up his own property line. Let's see, 10 years. Was it 10 years? Basically, since the development of the trailer park. So 57 to 76, right? I think that counts as adverse possession. I don't see why it doesn't. Dang it. I don't even remember what the elements of adverse possession are. Ugh, gosh, okay. And wouldn't you start from 1957? That's what I feel like you should start from because it says the since the development of the trailer park. So you would still say that it's since 1957. That's what I'm saying here. But anyways. Oh, man. I don't even know. But at least I read the case. Oh, man, there's ordinary wear and tear. But they perform upkeep and maintenance. Oh, great. Who knows? I mean, well, it says upon destruction of the premises. That's an important phrase. It was destroyed, or was it? It just says parts of it were destroyed. And then they completely destroyed it afterwards. They just leveled it. Can they sue Jones for that? Uh, I don't know. Well, the idea is you have to have reasonable care of it. And is it unreasonable for him to not have fire insurance? Ah, hmm. Can you really work in the building if can it really be considered a habitable building if it's below 50 degrees? It sounds like they're correct there. I don't know. I don't know. It's too hard. I would have to study all the rules even more closely, and even then, it would be hard to figure out the answer. Dang it. Study all this stuff so much more than what I already did. Study it. That's funny. Oh, whoa, there's answers? Holy crap. There's answer keys here. This is so nice. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. Oh boy. That could help a lot here. That could help. So it's 46. Wait, so there are 50 chapters. I don't know why we're skipping intellectual property. Okay. Yes, it is in fact 13 pages long. Wills. You know what's interesting? How many points is our attendance worth? A lot of points. Hey, that means I have a grade. And in fact, all of these are worth 100 points. What the heck? Wait, is that even on the syllabus? Like, the fact that these are worth literally just attending a class one day gets you 100 points. That doesn't make any sense. I think that's going to be changed because that's insane. Like, where's the grading here? It's not even on the grading thing here. There's nothing on the grade that has to do with attendance. Oh no, projects. Oh no, a project. Oh no, I want to do a project. That's practically 10% of your grade. What? Holy crap, you can get tons of extra credit? Is that what that means? You can miss 2 quizzes without penalty. Well, if that's the case. How on earth can you miss 2 quizzes without penalty? That's insane, too. But yeah, it's gonna have my grade as 100% because of the way he did that. So, man, when are they ever gonna get rid of all this stuff, dude? Man, they're so annoying. When are they ever just gonna get rid of these? Don't want this, this one, this one. Dude, this is from a full year ago. This is from even more than a year ago, I think. This is from, no, this is from like 2021. Like, why? Wills, trusts, and estates. Really, it does. It really does apply to all people from all walks of life, huh? Okay, I guess wills do, but trusts and estates, I don't think so. Estate planning. Yep, that's what the average person is doing all the time. The average person needs to do their due diligence in their estate planning. There's 6 learning objectives and only 13 pages. What the heck? What is the last page in this? 59. Oh, what is a decadent? Wait.
Decedent.
Why is this? That's
Decedent.
I have not written a will. You know what's interesting? Like, Who freaking cares what happens after you die? Because you're dead. So you won't even be able to be there to know whether or not what you wanted happened and what it doesn't even matter. It's like, oh my gosh. Well, I guess you'd want to make sure the right people get your stuff. And also, I don't know what else. Estate includes the real man, decedent. Oh, I guess I thought of estate as being bigger or something like, but apparently everybody can have every single person's property is considered their estate. That's for some reason I thought it was only if it was a giant piece of property. Yeah, great. Well, intested. Is it called? Why is this?
Testator.
Intestate.
Oh no, the horrors. The stuff goes to somebody I didn't want to go it to, even though I'm already dead and I can't even be there to see where the stuff is going to. That's cool. State. And the state includes last will and testament. A will is a legal document. Legal document in which a person attests. Dang it, I keep doing this.
Testator.
Express is wishes as to how this estate is to be distributed at death, in which the testator appoints an executor to manage the estate until its final distribution. A will is thus an estate planning document that lets one direct how one's assets should Oh, now you're using the pronoun one. They keep alternating between he and she, and then they decide to use one. That's for the first time. Man, I mean, I guess one is a good like gender neutral pronoun or something, but it just sounds weird. But all options sound weird because there's no good option in English for this right now. So you may as well just use one. Use one. Use a pronoun that sounds weird, but it'll eventually sound normal once we use it enough. So either one or they. One seems fine. I don't know what situation where one would not work. One's assets should be administered to whom and under what what's assets. After the death, designate guardianship for minor children to make charitable bequests and to specify their funeral arrangements. I was just thinking of this one Parks and Rec scene. That would be a fun thing to figure out. What is my favorite Toho song of all time? I seriously don't know. It's got to be from an original Toho, right? It's got to be. I mean, I know I kind of have an idea of what my favorite albums were, but I don't have a super good idea of what my favorite tracks were. I'd have to go through literally every single Toho album I've ever listened to and go song by song and then figure out what one would be my favorite one. To summarize, although the law of wills varies from state to state, there are four main requirements for the formation of a will. Now, the will must have been executed with testamentary intent. What does that even mean? What does testamentary intent even mean? Oh my gosh. Testamentary intent. What does that even mean? What does that mean? I don't care. The testator must have had a testamentary capacity. What does that mean? What does that mean? Free of fraud, duress, undue influence, or mistake. Must have been duly executed through proper ceremony and signed by at least two to three witnesses. Number of witnesses depends on law of jurisdiction. What is
Codicil. Codicil. Codicil.
all these words? Execute. Oh my gosh.
Executor.
Oh.
Executor. Executor.
Okay, in this case, the word one doesn't really make any sense. One will also assist the attorney of the state. That doesn't really work. So, they it is. Oh, why can't you just be okay with using alternating between he and she? Ooh, whenever it's she, you question it, and then when it's he, you don't care. The executor acts as a legal conveyor. Oh my gosh, there's so many words. Ooh, dude. No, there has to be. It's not even in Google. It's not even in Google.
Intestacy.
That's how I thought it was pronounced.
Intestacy.
I wonder which embarrassing.
Intestacy.
I wonder which embarrassing videos are my recommended, right? Nobody cares. Why?
Intestacy.
Let's see which embarrassing videos are my recommended. Let's see. So far, I don't see anything that's embarrassing. So those land test when the decedent? Oh, come on! I keep forgetting how to pronounce the words. Come on.
Decedent.
There was a musical person named Prince. I've never heard of either of these people. Small loan of $1 million. A decedent. An estate. Yeah, I don't know why I thought estate only referred to the property if it was above a certain threshold of being like a certain worth. It's actually just any old property that's of somebody who dies. I keep being unsure about pronunciation.
Testator.
Ow, eat my hand. Freedom of disposition. Testators should be free to dispose. They can do it however they want. Instead of giving it to their kids, they can just do it to something else. Stop. Fun. Testators should be free to dispose of their property at death in any way they want. If you get to choose where your belongings go, that incentivizes you to be productive in your lifetime so that you can, because if you don't get to choose, then what's the point of being productive? That is a weird way to think about it. I've literally never even had that thought in my entire life, but okay. I've never thought to myself, huh, because I get to choose who gets the stuff after I die, that I'm going to now be more productive. I mean, I guess maybe I've thought like it would probably be better for me to be very productive so that my like kids or loved ones get more when I die. So, but still, that was funny. Oh, is it fair that some children inherit millions of dollars from their wealthy parents while others receive small or no inheritances? A natural right? There's no such thing as a natural right. It is an artificial right. Really? How is that even a valid point of view? It's a natural right. What does that even mean? Define the word natural. Why should we not interfere with the natural right? Define what natural means? Is there even such a thing as a natural right? No. It's just whatever we choose to enforce as a right. What about the religious preferences of testators? Court grapples with this fundamental dilemma between religious freedom and fairness in the will of Dr. Daniel Shapiro. So, let's see what weird thing he decided to do with the disposition of their property at death. Let's see what weird thing he decided to do that was probably stupid and caused people to have to literally have a court case over what should they do about it. Let's see. I can almost guarantee that it's probably going to be dumb. Having being named David and then naming your son Daniel is a little confusing because I kind of confuse those two names a lot. Sometimes I even question what my own middle name is because I use it so infrequently, and it's like, is my middle name David or Daniel? I know it's Daniel. It's like, oh, come on, I knew that was dumb. That was going to be dumb. Although it is a religious belief, so it's kind of a little bit offensive to call a religious belief dumb, but still. You only get the inheritance if you are married to a Jewish girl with two Jewish parents. If you don't do that, you do not get the money. Nice job. It was a little less stupid than I was anticipating, but it was still stupid. It was unconstitutional based on the premise that the right to marry is protected by the 14th Amendment. Huh? That's kind of weird. I don't know how that's even related to this. His possessions were to be used to encourage the preservation of the Jewish faith. But like, what's the rule on that right there? Well, they said that it's like, is it a reasonable restriction for this? Is it reasonable? Well, that is like, oh no. What I'm saying right now could be construed to be anti-Semitic. Whoopsies. Well, I would say the same thing if it was for any religious belief. It doesn't just have to be Jewish, so. And it's not even like based on the race, it's based on the religion. And that statement implies you can have. I'm really. You know what's interesting about that guy who sued? The guy went to all the trouble of suing to get the inheritance when it probably would have just been easier. Well, I don't know if it's that easy. Like, it may have, I don't know how easy that would have been. I was going to say, it would have just been easier to just marry the Jewish girl and then get the inheritance and then get divorced. But actually, now I say it out loud, I don't know. Depends on how easy it would have been to find a girl who would have agreed to that. Maybe they would have agreed to it if they said you get a cut of the inheritance if you marry me for like a short period of time and then we get divorced. Oh man, long case. So she left her entire estate to her mentor, her acting mentor, instead of her family or friends. Well, I mean, the acting mentor could have been a very important person in her life, so maybe you shouldn't judge it. So, what does that even mean? The estate was closed. Intellectual property assets were transferred to a Delaware company, Marilyn Monroe LLC. Okay. Um. Wait. How does Marilyn Monroe uh, possess intellectual property assets? What? Which? And imagine if he cold calls. Imagine if my professor cold calls me tomorrow. Even though I have done all the reading and done all the reading, uh, homework thingy, and then watches, I still can't properly answer his question. Well, he said he would have leniency at the beginning of the semester. But man, imagine if reading and studying for this long is still not enough. Well, if I had trouble answering the question, but then he asked me a series of questions that helped me get to the answer, and my responses made sense, maybe he would still give us credit for that. But like, what if I read this stuff and then I still somehow didn't remember or know how to answer the question in the answer? That could happen, you know. It's not like we can master the full material that like before the class where we discuss the material, even though we're still supposed to write the outline 1 week later and then take an exam on that material another week later. So how are we supposed to master the material by literally 2 weeks before we're supposed to even take an exam over the material? Because that kind of implies like if you're cold called, you should have mastered the material at that point to be able to answer the question. But he said that you have to only have a very mildly competent answer to this question. Why? How is this even related? Oh. Oh, geez. The way they made this, they wrote it, made it sound variously. They are now free to exploit the images of. Nice wording there. MMLLC's case is doomed. Take away freedom of disposition is the common law principle. That testator should be free to dispose of their property at death in any way they want. The freedom of disposition, however, is not absolute, as testators may impose only reasonable conditions in their will, and the word reasonable is completely subjective. So that's great. Well, that's is we are now page 951. What is probate? What is probate? Man, this is so boring. So boring. How does this even apply to businesses? How does this even apply to business? The last chapter was pretty clear in how it applied to businesses, but not this one necessarily. Because, like, wills, something, I forgot what it was. Imagine if I'm reading the wrong chapter. How on earth are we reading about this, but we're not going to ever cover intellectual property? I mean, that is a huge thing for businesses. That is huge. That is, like, why aren't we covering that? And that seems to be one of the very few chapters we're not covering. Like, we're covering so many chapters in this book, but not that one? Why? Maybe that chapter was covered in the first business law class. Maybe that's what it was. That must be what it was, because I mean, I feel like I covered intellectual property when I took. Yeah, clearly, maybe that's the reason we're not covering intellectual property, because it was already covered in the last class, which I took 10 billion years ago and in a different college, and it was probably way easier. What I took, I heard so many people complaining about their business law class. I just kneeled on top of my earbuds. That was good. Probate. Oh, come on. You should have put another comma there. Probate. The process. The print. The process that manages, settles, and distributes a decedent's. Dang it.
Decedent.
According to the terms of a will or by operation of intestate law, if no valid will exist. When a person dies, someone, usually a family member, may petition a court in the decedent's state of domicile to appoint a personal representative to protect and distribute the property in the decedent's estate. Probate is the process by which the personal representative assembles and distributes the assets in the decedent's estate to the beneficiaries designated in the decedent's will or to the decedent's heirs as determined by intestacy law throughout wills, as if the decedent owned property in other states. A separate ancillary probate might have to be opened and a personal representative appointed in each. The probate process also supposed to protect the rights of creditors. A personal representative has a legal obligation to identify and notify the decedent's creditors of the probate proceedings. The creditors of the decedent may then assert their claims against the decedent's estate once the assets of the decedent This textbook has 900 pages. Oh my gosh. And in fact, we're going to have to read quite a large portion of these pages. I mean, just for the first class alone, I had to read 34 pages. Huh. Well, according to my one professor for advanced accounting, he said that in his class, he would just expect students to have to do about 1 hour of homework for every 1 hour of class. And we have 1 hour and 15 minutes multiplied by 2 is 2 hours and 30 minutes, so 2.5 hours. So he expects that we should only have to do 2.5 hours of homework for that class per week. So, once the assets of the decedent are assembled and the creditors have been contacted, the estate enters a holding period. During this time, the personal representative has a duty to protect the assets of the estate, but he or she may pay any estate taxes, sell property from the estate to pay creditors, or request property appraisals if necessary. I know because courts have been moving toward treating personal representatives in much the same way as trustees. We will discuss the duties of each after we have examined the law of trust later in this chapter. In addition, any conflicts? Basically, this entire chapter is about what if somebody dies? What happens to their stuff? And how does that have anything to do with business? Nothing. This doesn't have anything to do with this. Oh no. In addition, any conflicts among the decedent's beneficiaries or heirs are heard and resolved during the probate process. For example, if there is a will that an interested party believes should not be enforced, there may be a will contest order. If there is a dispute about the will's meaning or about the testator's will.
Testator.
Once assets have been assembled, creditors paying primaries address the personal representative closest to the estate by distributing the remaining property to those entitled to it. Distributions might be made to individuals, to charities, to trustees of already existing trusts, or to trustees of trusts created by the decedent's will. It is worth noting that not all property interests. Dude, imagine if I read the wrong chapter here. It is worth noting that not all property interests are subject to probate. Property that the decedent held alone or as a tenant in common. What does that even mean? Is subject to the system. But most property in the United States is held under joint tenancy, such as marital property. Moreover, life insurance proceeds on the decedent's life and property. And lifetime trusts are all outside of probate. As a result, if the decedent is survived by a spouse, his wealth may actually be subject to probate. A typical married couple may hold virtually everything: houses, cars, basic accounts, and investments in joint tenancy. As a result, there may be no need for probate until the surviving spouse dies. Nevertheless, the probate system is fundamentally important to the entire intergenerational wealth transfer process. Much of the law governing wealth transfer developed in the context of probate. Moreover, it is the ultimate fail-safe system if no other theory authorizes the shift of property from a decedent to another. The probate system comes into play. Well, now it's probably gonna be is stuff because it says strategic advantages. The strategic. Trust. Probate avoidance devices. Strategic methods of intergenerational wealth transfer that effectively transfer wealth at someone's death, but that are not subject to the costly and slow probate system. For this reason, these strategic methods are often referred to as will substitutes. Principal among them is the trust. This section introduces the trust concept and some terminology. Here are parties involved in a trust. Oh, it fixed it, right? Because it says it's at 86 megabytes after 2 hours, whereas this other 1 hour clip was 1 gigabyte. Well, this 2 hour clip was 1 gigabyte, maybe. It has something to do with I changed one setting and that seemed to fix it. So truster, the person creating the trust. Trustee, the person or company that holds the legal title to the assets in the trust and is generally responsible for managing and distributing the assets in accordance with the terms of the trust. Beneficiary, one entitled to receive part or all of the property under the terms of the trust, either now or in the future. A beneficiary can be an individual or an entity. A trust is a three-party fiduciary relationship in which the first party trustor transfers a piece of property. What? The second party, the trustee, the beneficiary, the beneficiary, the trust revocable. Irrevocable. Oh, come on. Revocable trusts or living trusts are created during the trustees. Oh, God.
Trustor. Trustor.
Weird stomach pains again. Fun. Funny. Funny. It literally can't cut this. It can't cut basically nothing. It was nothing. It's practically no misalignment. It still couldn't cut the corner. Seriously. Serious. Quick quiz. Quick. Ooh, ooh. God, you're the best. Really, you named your kids Blue Ivy, Sir, and Roomy. Blue Ivy. Yes, my name is Blue Ivy. I mean, you could just shorten it to Blue. Even that's kind of weird still. And Sir? Like, seriously? My name is Sir. Is that their real names? You know what I could do? I could still take a couple of classes like over the spring that are not like I basically just to get to 150 credits. I could take a couple of classes in the spring if I have some free time, but at the same time, eh, because I mean, if I still want to get the CPA, then I would have to theoretically take a couple of classes, and it literally doesn't even matter which classes they are over the spring. It just has to be classes to get to 150 credits. So, and I could like spread them out over the course of 2 semesters so that basically by the time I graduate, I will also just happen to have 650 credits. So maybe it wasn't a complete waste of my life to like delay my graduation by a year. And then watch as I just don't do that. Woo! And it could be any class I want. Dude, I could take like a video editing class or something. I mean, I could take advanced tax, but at the same time, how about no? Like, can't you just take whatever class you want? It literally doesn't matter, just as long as it gets you the credit. Well, if I could choose any class that I could possibly want, if there was a video editing class, maybe I would take it. Like, what else would I want to take? Maybe something recommended by host. Who are the beneficiaries of the trust? Gosh dang it, man. I'm gonna say kids. Yay, that's what I said. You didn't really explain why that's the case, but anyways, who's the trustee and trustor? So, let me look at the definition of these again. Whoever created the trust, who holds the legal title to the assets in the trust, and is responsible for management. I'd say Jay-Z and Beyonce are trustor and Kanye West is trustee. Hey, I was correct. That was fun. So I got the right answer in the quiz. So that's funny. Quick quiz. That was funny. Takeaway concepts. Like, what if we just made our entire outline from the takeaway concepts? I mean, we could theoretically do that. I mean, couldn't our outline just have a giant list of the terms and then just the takeaway concepts and that's it? I mean, that seems pretty simple. I might just um, ask the professor if we can basically just use the takeaway concepts and the key terms as our outline and that's it. But we have to paraphrase every single thing that we write in the outline. Like the way we do it is just use the takeaway concepts and definitions of terms, and that's it. And that's the entire outline. I mean, honestly, if I was studying the material, I would just copy and paste the takeaway concepts and the key terms and just study that stuff. So, and I would probably also study the review questions at the end of it too. So, but that was funny. Ooh. Transfers a property, but not necessarily itself money to a second party for the benefit of a third party. In this second bullet point, we would have to explain what those terms even mean too. Assets in a trust are transferred. Want to listen to music? Maybe I should turn on the music. I am functioning on 3 hours of sleep, and also I am functioning on having been awake since 12:30 in the morning. That's right. I was awake at 12:30 in the morning. Oh my goodness. Death taxes. Death tax. Nothing in life is certain but death and taxes. Hey, that's a meme that often appears in comment sections. Man, do all the people who make that do that meme know that that was originally from Benjamin Franklin? Death, taxes, and blah blah blah. It's like the meme format. It's like, no, here's the things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and blank. And it was Benjamin Franklin who said that originally. Oh my gosh. Wow, good for you. I wonder if my personality has been extremely weird because of being sleep deprived. This tax applies to property. That is transferred via a will or according to state laws of intestacy. Well, under the Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. That was a fun one. Tax cuts. Estates that exceed. What did it used to be before the 2017 thingy? Estates that exceed $11.2 million are subject to a 40% estate tax. Oh man, that's actually a lot. Huh. 40%. The talk of taxes reminds me of my federal income tax class and my professor in that class, who I have not had since that class as a professor. So I guess he's more of a tax guy, but I have not taken any more tax classes since him. So I've had completely different professors since him. Apparently, there seem to be 4 different accounting professors. There may even be more, but like I have even a new accounting professor for this semester that I didn't have before. For advanced accounting 1. So, and interestingly enough, if I didn't drop any of my classes this semester, all 3 classes would have a different professor. This semester. But I'm leaning towards dropping cost accounting and keeping the other 2 classes so that I can not have to go to class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Plus, I have to drop one of the classes, and if I have to drop one of them, I may as well drop. And it literally doesn't matter which one I drop, except for the fact that maybe I shouldn't drop advanced business law. But like, if I didn't take advanced business law this semester, would that mean that I just have to take regular business law to get the degree? But still, I'd rather just take the benefit of not having to drive to school 3 days a week, 3 extra days a week, because it's such a huge waste of time and money to drive there so many times. Plus, it would even more severely limit the hours that I could work at the internship if I had to go to school 5 days a week. And it's very, very tempting for me to just drop all 3 classes and just do the internship by itself. But I feel like it might be smarter to just take some classes this semester so that I'm not left in a position next year where I have to take 3 classes, but it would conflict with my work schedule, and I would have to either quit my job and take the classes or just not take the classes at all. That could happen if I drop all 3. That's fine. And I'm gonna have to take them eventually, right? So I may as well take, if I can, I may as well take at least one, if not multiple, classes this semester. 2 out of the 3 is probably okay. Oh, that was funny. It would be so freaking hilarious how I would be delaying cost accounting another full year. Because it feels like I'm taking it late already. Although I noticed a bunch of people in my cost accounting class are seniors, so I guess it's not that unusual. But still, that was funny. Dude, I think the way it works at that school is that financial accounting is a prerequisite for management accounting, which is a prerequisite for cost accounting. So maybe it's not unusual at all. But then again, is financial accounting a prerequisite for management accounting? I don't remember. Who cares? That was funny. You're wasting time. Only the largest 0.1% of estates will pay the tax in the United States. It is one part of the in addition to the federal and state tax. Many states have enacted a state and of their own. Which states have? I bet it's only the left-leaning states. So far, I see Illinois, Washington, Oregon, New York. Estate taxes are paid by the decedent's estate before the money is distributed. Inheritance is paid by the person who's inheriting the money or assets from the decedent. Who cares? Shut up. So, what are the typical left-leaning states? Illinois, New York, Washington, Oregon, California. Wouldn't California be one? Interestingly, no, not in this case. It doesn't necessarily have to be left-leaning for it to do. And it's a lot of northeastern states. Minnesota. Oh, I think you know what? I think Minnesota went blue in the election. I can't remember though. And weirdly enough, Kentucky, huh? Kentucky, that's kind of an outlier there. Isn't Kentucky more of a red state? That was funny. Debate. Paris Hilton. and the restatement. A uniform probate code is a comprehensive model act drafted by National Conference of Commissioners. Uniform state laws governing inheritance and decedents' estates in the United States. The primary purposes of the UPC were to streamline the probate process and to standardize and modernize the various state laws governing wills, trusts, and intestacy. Although the UPC was intended for adoption by all 50 states, the original 1969 version of the code was adopted in its entirety by only a handful of states. And by a handful, we actually mean like 13. So, yeah, a handful equals, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And by a handful, we mean 15, because 15 equals a handful. A handful is 15. The remaining states have adopted various portions of the code in a piecemeal fashion, even among the adopting jurisdiction. Okay, it's starting to hurt my voice. Tomorrow is football. Football. Even among the adopting jurisdictions, there are variations from state to state, some which are significant. A person attempting to determine the law in a specific state should check the code as actually adopted in that jurisdiction and not rely on the text of the UPC as promulgated by a board. In the case a creditor learns this the hard way, who cares? This looks. Richard Wood died while domiciled in Hillsborough County, Florida on May 30th, 1990. Less than 2 months before Wood died, Priscilla M. Payne and her children, the Paynes, had obtained a default judgment against Wood in the amount of $1.5 million in a Michigan court. Wood had previously lived in Michigan, and the lawsuit alleged that he had converted or mishandled securities belonging to the Paynes. Michigan's lawyer for the Paynes relied on the official text of the Uniform Probate Code, but failed to check the actual probate statute as had been adopted in Florida. As a result, the lawyer missed a filing deadline on the Paynes' claim. It's basically like a technicality. They lost it on a technicality of the filing date or something like that. Yeah, they're like, yeah, this doesn't feel good, but according to the law, that you did not file it at the time you were supposed to, so it doesn't matter. Count or something. Like the UPC, the Uniform Trust Code, is a comprehensive model act drafted by the governing the creation of trusts in the United States. Although the UTC is not binding, it is used by many states as a model law. As of 2018, 31 states had adopted some substantive form of the UTC, with many others having introduced it into the legislature for adoption. While the UPC and the UTC offer statutory language and commentary to state legislators. the restatement of property and the restatement of trust provide guidance to courts. Those restatements, like others you have learned about, are the product of the American Law Institute, a private organization consisting of a select group of judges, lawyers, and law professors that was initially founded in 1923 to clarify, simplify, and reform the law, take away concepts, reform uniform codes, and the restatements. The National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws has drafted 2 uniform acts pertaining to probate and trusts. The Uniform Probate Code is the Uniform Probate Code is a comprehensive model act governing inheritance and decedents estates, while the Uniform Trust Code is a comprehensive model act governing the accretion of trust. Oh. Thinking strategically, Prince's fault. Problem. By all accounts, the musician Prince was a propulsive, complicated artist. Few performers have exacted more control over their art. And yet, surprisingly, for an artist who craved absolute authority, Prince left no will. This omission has created some serious problems for his estate. Yeah, I can't talk in that weird voice anymore. It's more of a falsetto voice. Like, estimated to add between $100 million and $300 million before taxes. Several heirs, including his sister and 5 half-siblings, not all of them close, and one who hadn't seen Prince in 15 years, are filing legal challenges in probate. You're worse yet. The estate. When does this even happen? Yes, I don't know when Prince died because I didn't even know who Prince was. That was funny. Is being supervised by many individuals, not of Prince's choosing. Why is this a problem? Why did he not release a bunch of music? That's weird. All the informal jams. Wow. That would be super interesting, though, to hear all those unreleased tracks. But, I mean, basically, you would be saying, well, he wouldn't have wanted that. I mean, who cares? He's dead. I know that sounds kind of bad, but I guess maybe his family members would care a lot about it. But, I do not have a will. So, oops. How does this have anything to do with business anyways? This has nothing to do with business. Why is this even in our advanced business law textbook? This has literally nothing to do with business. Help the trustor who is dead avoid that process? I mean, he's dead, so he did avoid the process. Like, honestly, that doesn't make any sense. The trustor would be the person who died. Wow, Prince. So Prince was around more recently. I didn't even know. I've never even heard of this person before. Like, it's probably blasphemous to admit that I've never heard of Prince. I probably have heard of Prince, but they died in 2016. Huh. I wonder what are his most famous songs? Um, what are his most famous songs? Albums. He changed his name to this. Yeah, that's what somebody who's is somebody. I guess I won't say. Yeah, what good does it do to change your name to something that doesn't even isn't even pronounceable? What? Like, what do you want people to call you then? Like, what? If they can't even say your name, then what do you want them to say when they refer to you? Why? Dude, I guess that's his stage name, not his legal name, but still, you changed your stage name to something. The purpose of a stage name is to be able to pronounce it. So why would you do that? You should have at least given them a name to say out loud. But nope, they didn't. So they referred to him as the artist, formerly known as Prince. What a great idea. Okay. And then he reverted to his original name in 2000. He accidentally overdosed on fentanyl. Oops. Is hello? Any are there any famous songs that I would recognize? Like, I don't know. There's probably one or two that I've heard before, but I don't know. I didn't even know that it was him. I don't know. YouTube. There's not very much of his work available on YouTube. That's weird. Huh. I guess he very fought. He did not want that his stuff to be available for free on YouTube. Huh. He just wanted it to be available as physical albums. Do you have any idea why he didn't leave a will? Maybe he just thought he wasn't anywhere close to dying or something. So I'm not gonna die anytime soon. I don't need a will. Maybe that's the entire reason. Dang it, all these stinking cases. I don't know if we're even gonna talk about any of this stuff. But I have to at least familiarize myself with it, because what if he's like, all right, I expect you to have read all the summaries of these cases before class. But what if we want to refresh ourselves on it? Because just because we read all of them doesn't mean we'd be able to remember them. So if he wanted to talk about that case in class, wouldn't he have us read the case to ourselves, and then we would talk about it? Because that's a lot of them to keep track of. So I'll take a risk and not read them. That was fun. We'll see how that turns out. The two risks I'm taking in this class are I'm not reading these cases, case summaries at the end of the chapters, and I'm not going to take notes on his lectures, and I'm just going to write my outlines based on the textbook. Unless he explicitly states that he wants to make a point that is not in the textbook, in which case I will write that down. That was funny. Okay. So we finished reading our stuff, and now we have to do our assignment. Just double checking the other classes to make sure there's nothing. And I don't know what's wrong with this class. Chapter 1 homework due on the 14th. I wonder if, man, it's going to suck if he has an in-class assignment, but I'm going to prepare for that class for an hour and a half before the class, so it should be fine. And I don't know why it doesn't have assignments on here, but the only way to access the assignment is by clicking it on here. I bet he's going to push back the due date on this, but we still want to do it today because we're only going to cover those 2 chapters tomorrow. So that was funny. How long will it take me to do this? It might take me a long time. Dude, this could take me another full 3 hours to finish that, because just reading the chapter is not really exactly enough to study for this book assignment. If it starts getting really late and I'm like way behind, then I'll just kind of cheese my way through these, because I know how to cheese my way through smart book assignments now, where I can do them much more quickly, but I don't really retain any of the information. Well, from my experience of doing these assignments, this could take like 3 hours. So that's funny. This says estimated 58 minutes, but I doubt it. Property is a set of rights over others to use the property exclusively. A title holder is permitted something use of the property, exclusive use. Element of involuntariness. Well, this is going way better than I was expecting. A bailment is created when the something bailer entrusts a bailee. Real estate extends fixtures. Property law recognizes 2 distinct categories: tangible property and intellectual. Ownership rights in property. Right to sell, gift, lease. Apparently you cannot bail property. The right to bail property. That's a little confusing. In some instances, the law allows a party to take title solely based on possession. There are ownership interests important. Key to determining whether a property is lost is involuntariness. To a degree. This is funny. Everything except for. Do I answer? Disowning. Dang it. I thought, oh, it was the Fifth Amendment. Dang it. Zoning. A something includes the real and personal property. Oh man, so the code doesn't seem to be working for our advanced accounting class, so he's probably gonna expect that we didn't really have time to read anything in our textbook before our first class. So maybe he won't have us doing class assignments. I don't know. That's funny. Or he won't expect too much of us for our first class. Or our second class, technically. Man, it would be so freaking nice if I could just drop all my classes and just do the internship by itself. That would be so nice. I mean, I could still if I wanted to. This is going way faster than I anticipated. I actually did absorb all the material pretty well, so that's good. That was funny. Something handles appeals from the decisions of the. Okay, I already did that one. Between something. Yeah, that's a weird question. That's a weird question. I don't even know what any of those phrases even means. It doesn't even explain what those mean. In a state can be transferred by death by either trust, intestacy law. Not a trust. That's right. Will or intestacy law. There's terms. We're already on to our next chapter already. How are we already on to the next chapter? We're not even halfway through the concepts yet. Codicil? I think that. Codicil.
Codicil.
No, it's not sil, it's soul.
Codicil.
Codicil? Codicil? Why is it IL? Then.
Codicil.
Yeah. Fifth Amendment takings clause. So, the authority of the state and federal government to take power over his derpy derpy derp derpy derp 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 derpy derp 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 a something derp 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 derp. Man, this is so stinking easy. I can't believe how easy this is. Man, reading the chapter actually helped a lot. Like, what? I don't know why it wasn't helping me that last semester, that one semester where I like read a chapter and then it still took me 5 billion years to do the concept. To do the smart book, that was funny. I bet like half the people in the class won't even see the smart book assignment because it's not, there isn't even an assignments tab on this for some reason. It's just in the to-do list. Not sure what's up with that. It's not even under modules either. It's just on the to-do. Dude, all three professors are having issues with Canvas. This professor has no assignments tab. This professor has not updated their page from last year. And then this professor, we still haven't even been able to access our textbook yet. Or our online, well, not that one. We haven't even been able to access our online stuff in this class at all. So that's funny. Good old technology failing on the first week of class. Okay, once assets have been assembled. Codicil. Person creating the trust is called the trustor. Oh, come on. Why are there three different names? Where in the book was that? Grantor and settler? What? Why? Why? The person or company who holds the legal title to the assets in a trust. If the blurge decided a something is entitled to receive all of the property. Owie. Once assets have been assembled. Once assets have been assembled. Trustor, grantor, settler. Apparently, person or company holds the legal title. Something trusts cannot be changed, irrevocable. Can be created upon a trustor's death. A something is entitled to receive part or all of the property. The three major benefits of trusts protect against spendthrifts, control distributions. I don't know. I don't know what this even means. Something trusts generally do not shelter assets from What do you mean by living trusts? I guess living is another term for revocable. The person creating the trust will I got that question 3 times. Why? I got it right. Oh, never mind. Remember benefits of flesh. It only took me a very short period of time. Wow, 90% correct answers. It says 0 challenging concepts. That is insane. Studying those chapters really helped. Wow, who would have thought that would have helped?